It may look like an ordinary home, but homes like this one have started some of the most important companies in the world. It's easy to see them as inevitable now, but in the beginning, they looked a lot like this, with small teams like the one you're joining now. The future we're building is not just about the machines, but the freedom they create for the people who need it most. That's what you're a part of now. Welcome to the beginning. This is a welcome letter that I write to every new person who dares to join our team. The entire team is made of Canadians, which actually makes the letter, I think, that much more important, because when you're flying in for the first time, joining a neighborhood like this, I think it really puts things into perspective. Palo Alto it's a beautiful neighborhood. That's very inspiring for us. The product that we're building is ultimately meant for the home. If you're sitting in a warehouse or a cubicle trying to design for the home, you're probably going to end up with designs that don't really fit. Our company is called Syncere. We want there to be a sincere connection between the people in the home and the technologies that they welcome into the home. It should just fit naturally into your life. I was watching Beauty and the Beast with my wife one night, with our newborn daughter at that time. The furniture coming alive is actually what inspired all of this. I drew a bunch of ideas, multiple versions of lamps. Through the exercise of doing that, the idea of Lume became more and more apparent. Our ambition is to free people of the laborious chores that they have to do, the stuff that takes up so much time. And that got us to laundry folding. You quite simply just dump your laundry on your bed, and then when you return, it's magically folded and sorted.
We think of robotics as a service. It relieves you of things that you don't want to do. I was actually trained as an architect originally. I think architecture at its best is a story of how we should be able to live. We care mostly about what the vision of your life looks like first, and then we design the robot to fit into that instead of the other way around. It's something that has to bend and reach, right? And in a house, the only thing that already looks like that is a lamp.
The floor lamp quite naturally hides a robot arm in plain sight.
From a design perspective, it's very elegant. I mean, it goes with our ethos of ambient robotics. It dissolves into the home.
The goal actually is to be forgotten. That's what great design is. If it's a giant machine with a large footprint, most people would have to carve out new space. With us, you don't have to do that because a floor lamp quite naturally fits into every room. If we look at this spectrum here, on one end of it is just very, very direct task lights. On the other end of it is very sort of ambient atmospheric lighting. And we wanted to create something that could function as both. That was version 1.
Obviously, it was too big, too bulky. We were thinking about, okay, well, how do you make this thing seem a little bit more weightless?
This one was like slimmed down as much as possible down to our actuator size. Yeah. But once we had it printed out, what we realized was it started looking a lot more industrial.
So we started experimenting with wrapping the structure and the motors with these leaves, the underside of which would then illuminate and they would become a bunch of hoods. And this really broke it open for us. We realized that the joints didn't actually have to have the motor inside of them. Instead of having the motor just right here, we put in the base. What that allows us to do is we get to shrink this to the point where it's unrecognizable as a motor, and it seems a lot more magical when it's opening up.
Deep down, we're approaching this as designers. Design is the thing that will make people want to have one of these in their home. People make up their impression for a product within the first few seconds of seeing it. That's what drove some of the initial colorways.
Here are some color options that we are thinking about doing for the lamp.
I mean, what do you think implies luxury from a color perspective?
I love these earthy tones because they really remind me of travel and just how much beauty is in nature. Light pink really stands out because it adds a fresh perspective to robotics.
These are some references that we've been kind of looking at. Terrell, Sky Spaces, or, Lucio Fontana. I think they all have a lot to do with the way we use color. And of course, the gloss helps with that as well.
The gloss was so important. We really wanted like a silky, glossy finish to kind of emulate what we see in luxury cars.
Luxury tones come from the fact that it's kind of in between a bunch of shades. You use color and you use gloss and depth to organize the whole thing into like a very continuous curve. And it makes it seem less bulky, it makes it seem less muscular.
They look lean, very sleek. The design element is key. This is so beautiful. It doesn't look like a robot. It looks inviting.
Hey Angus, how's it going?
Good. We're training all the core algorithms for getting the robots to perform tasks really efficiently.
We met on the first day of school. We were the two new PhD students in the same research lab.
I lead most of the robot learning and software team here. What we're working on is something that hasn't been done before. We actually have a policy for the robot that folds launch even better than I do.
Hey Siddharth, how's it going?
Hey, we're trying to get everything on the hardware so that we can get a faster control loop and get everything as smooth as possible. People don't necessarily like to see a humanoid. It kind of gives them like a Terminator vibe within their home. So I think the best strategy in terms of getting people to adopt robots is to seamlessly integrate that into existing furniture, which is what we're trying to do. The idea is that because we're collecting data from humans, then the robots will also learn to fold in a very human-like manner.
Check this out. Ooh yeah, look at that.
Very cool, that's awesome.
Aaron and I, we worked together way back in university. I went straight into industry, so I've spent many years in automotive. So this is the gripper, right? And here's actually a prototype, all printed in-house, all assembled in-house.
So many different iterations of this, where the grippers are coming out of, how do we conceal it?
Before it was something we talked about was like, oh, it just comes out from the front, but then, it looks kind of insect-like and creepy. But here we have just a slight angle, which worked out well, but we're really pushing the limits of like
This packaging.
Yeah.
The size of this thing needs to look impossible, essentially.
Yes, and that definitely does not make life easy, but
Because you're trying to do the impossible.
yeah, but we'll figure it out.
It's like they're alive.
Initially, you're like, this is just a lamp, and then it just comes alive, right? After I saw that, I just knew that this was the place for me. So I actually live in Los Angeles, so my wife's there, and I haven't seen her in like almost 2 months now. But she knows there's a mission here, I know I support you, and so she's been very supportive of me doing this.
We've all had to sacrifice a lot to be here. Most of our families are still in Canada or overseas. My wife, I've been with her for 13 years. None of this would be possible without her. She has really big goals, and I think sometimes it just takes meeting the right person to bring the best out of you.
When I was a kid, I wanted to work on something that's really challenging. We're building something that I think will change how people view robotics.
We worked with each other when we both had nothing and no one believed in us. When we do eventually win, it will just make that journey even more worthwhile.
Because no one has done it before, we're all learning together.
When an idea is super revolutionary, but also organic at the same time, it hits you like a sack of bricks. You see it and you're like, wow, how could I not have thought of that?
Success for us is a loom in every room, which means multiple looms in every home. Sometimes we forget that things don't make a home. People do. Everything else is just there to support that. And when something truly belongs, you stop noticing it.
Nice. Enjoy, guys.
And you start noticing everything else.